I want to talk about the impact the language can have on a person's sense of intelligence, or more precisely, how language shapes the way we judge our own ability to understand things. Why have I been thinking about this question? Because recently I came across a Chinese phrase again. 认知升级 literally means a cognitive upgrade. What does that mean? I had seen it many times before, but saying a word again and again does not mean we truly understand it. A word can feel familiar without ever being clear for us. I think that is a mistake many of us make. The English word behind 认知 actually is cognition. It refers to the mental process of gaining knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and the senses. Okay, I just take a comfortable position. And then originally, it is a term from psychology, but in the Chinese context, well, I often say it used, it feels less like psychology, but more like a way of saying that someone who lacks perspective or does not know enough yet or has not seen enough of the world. And when it is used in that way, I often felt it strangely difficult to grasp. I spent a long time trying to live outside a Chinese language environment, even though the string of the night has pulled me back again, as I have written in Chinese language. And that distance is exactly what made me more sensitive to the way words are used. For more than 20 years, I often wondered whether I was simply not very smart, because I frequently could not understand the words people around me were using. I still remember some of the expressions I first encountered when I started working. For example, the Chinese words 母体, which means mother body, or 文化符号, cultural symbol. To be honest, those words felt enormous to me, and I often felt as if I simply could not hold such big words in my hands. The shock of entering society for the first time made me question, at one point, whether there was something wrong with my intelligence. I have never thought of myself as especially smart, so that doubt stayed with me for a long time. Not very long ago, I was preparing for the French citizenship exam, and I came across the three branches of state power: the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. In French, they are pouvoir exécutif, pouvoir judiciaire, and pouvoir législatif. What struck me was how much clearer they felt to me in French than they had in Chinese. Because when I saw judiciaire, I immediately connected it with justice. So I understood at once that this meant the branch of power responsible for judging, for applying justice, for setting what is lawful and fair. Then the other two also become easy to place. Executive is the power that carries out and administers. Legislative is the power that makes laws. And once I saw them in that structure, I stopped confusing the three. But what I am trying to say is this: our understanding of things is often guided and sometimes limited by language. In Chinese, these three branches are compressed into the terms 执法, 司法, and 立法. They all center on the word law, 法, with the difference carried by the first character. But for a learner, that can also be the problem. the words tell you that they are all related to law, yet they do not immediately tell you how they differ. In 司法, for example, especially the idea of justice is not immediately visible. And that is exactly that made the term hard for me to understand. And then in French, the structure felt more transparent. First comes power, and then a word who tells you that what kind of power it is, and the power to execute, the power to legislate, and then the power to judge. For me, the logic becomes visible almost at once. Here, I'm not using those examples to criticize Chinese as a whole. In fact, I think the opposite. It shows how condensed and subtle Chinese can be. But I really do feel that there'll be some kind of chemistry between people and words. Some Chinese words simply take me much longer than they seem to take other people before they truly click. And I would like to take another example, the mathematical concept of a function. When I first learned the Chinese word for it, 函数, I mostly memorized it by force. I cannot understand it immediately, and I just memorized the word. Later, when I saw the French word function, fonction, it connected more naturally to something I already understood. That one thing has a role. It operates in relation to something else. And then that small connection made the concept feel much more accessible. And once that clicked, I could keep reading without getting stuck on the word itself. I could move deeper into the knowledge instead of being blocked at the entrance. So sometimes I think maybe a person who is not intelligent actually is not unintelligent. They just have to find the right doorway into understanding within a particular language. And then for me, language is not just a tool. It shapes the path through which a person understands the world. And sometimes it even shapes the way a person judges themselves. And I do not know whether I hope I have expressed clearly what I want to say, but I do not think the words can express exactly what I mean. They can only try within their limits to frame what I am really trying to say. But with the ability I have right now, this is as far as I could do for the moment. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope this story could inspire you in your language journey. So see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.